People have always asked me these questions. How did you start your business? Who are your first customers? How did you grow to where you are right now? But actually, no one really asked me this question. In this video, I'm going to share with you anyway of how we started our coffee business 4 years ago, fast forward to now, and some of the lessons that we learned along the way, the wins, the setbacks, and what is to come next. So let's go. So it all started back when I was in the US studying for my engineering degree, and I had a roommate that was obsessed with coffee. He was telling me things about coffee that I've never heard of. And one day he barged into my room and told me, hey, want to go to a New York Coffee Festival that is tomorrow? Mind you, it was a 10-hour journey drive. So we decided to drive all throughout the night from Michigan to New York to attend that coffee festival. And in that coffee festival, that was the first time that it truly opened my eyes to what coffee has to offer. And so I bought a coffee roaster in the US and started roasting coffee. When I moved back to Malaysia, I was working as a data analyst now, and I took my bonus that I have and bought a small 200-gram coffee roaster and started roasting coffee for my own consumption. So this is actually where it all started, right? When I first bought my 200-gram coffee roaster, the thought was simple. It was just, I was cheap. I didn't want to pay full price for roasted coffee, and so I wanted to roast coffee for myself so that it's more affordable. But I also thought I wanted to make back the money that I've put in, 5,000 ringgit, for that coffee roaster. And I thought, hey, why not pay a guy on Fiverr, design the logo, put it on the back, put it up online, and see if anyone would buy the coffee. And slowly, eventually, one order started to turn to 5 orders per week. 5 orders started to turn to 10 to 50. And by the time we know it, we were swamped. And I had to recruit my family members to come to help me to pack, to ship out parcels, and so on. So this right here is where actually my 200-gram coffee roaster used to be. I will place the roaster right here and we'll start roasting day in and day out, and smoke was everywhere. And it was during the lockdown during 2020, and everyone was at home. Throughout that whole process, we faced quite a number of challenges. Some of our neighbors were not happy that we were roasting coffee because of the smell and so on, which is understandable, right? But that did not push us back. We did not give up. And so what we did is we took that 200-gram coffee roaster, retrofit a room upstairs above the house, and put an exhaust fan and so on, and started roasting coffee from that small little room. You can only imagine, for those of you who are coffee roasters, how that room would smell like and the temperature in that room. It was crazy. Okay guys, I just remember, this is where we first started, right? If you look behind me, it's just a regular espresso bar, right? Nothing new, just a curtain right behind. But what you don't know is behind this curtain, that's where we retrofitted our whole space. So right here in our bar, it used to be where our espresso 3 kg machine used to be. And this is where we retrofitted our wall here to contain an exhaust, or basically a fan, so that smoke will get pushed out. And right here, you can see a ducting. That's where we duct all the smoke out. And then if you notice behind, there is our smoke filter. Yeah, this is where we used to roast. And now this is my home espresso bar setup. So back to the video. And fortunately enough, we have so much support and so many orders that we knew we'd have to do something else. Now, amidst all this, I was actually working a 9-to-5 data engineering job while juggling this side hustle of coffee roasting business that is booming. And so it was a constant struggle of what I should do next. Should I quit my job, or should I just let this side hustle fizzle out? So after consulting different people and asking opinions from people that I really respect, I decided, if I'm not going to quit my 9-to-5 stable income job right now, when else would be the best time? And so I handed in my resignation letter to my boss and told him that I was going to work full-time as a barista. And he looked at me as though I was crazy and out of my mind. Mind you, at that time, it was still the lockdown. Everything was unstable. But looking back at it all, it wasn't easy, but it was the best decision that I've ever made. Now, as demand grew, we knew that we needed to expand. We knew that roasting on a 200-gram coffee roaster just won't cut it anymore. And so I spoke to my brother John, who is now the head roaster, that we needed to take another risk, another step forward. And so we found a shop that is what you see right here, right? Initially, when we had this shop and moved into the shop, everything was empty. The shelves that you see right here, they were all not in existence. The organization of green beans, they were also not in existence. Now, on top of moving into a space like this, we bought a 3 kg coffee roaster. Now, I still remember when we first got this roaster, I thought to myself, if we're ever one day max out on this roaster, we're gonna be rich, we're gonna have tons of money, and that's all. We can retire into the sunset. But guess what? Fast forward to 2023, we had to take another leap forward, another risk, and we bought a 6 kg coffee roaster. This is now our production roaster, and we roast mainly on this roaster daily. Now, there are months that we even max out on this roaster itself, and we're grateful for all the support that we've received so far and the learnings that we've learned all along the way. The truth is, we didn't know what we were doing along the way. Sure, we know to roast basic coffee, but talking to customers, getting packaging done properly, we have all the mistakes that we've ever made. Bad coffee, bad packaging, pricing that doesn't fit customer, bad packaging again. All this, it did not work. But we took steps to improve. We get customers' feedback and we try to improve all along the way. And even to today, we're still constantly trying to improve. And every step of the way, that takes us forward to where we are today. Running a business is like sitting on a roller coaster. There are highs and there are lows. And so often as a business owner, we are the toughest critics of ourselves. We often forget to celebrate small wins. For example, I made this mistake, and looking back at it, it's these small incremental wins that makes a part of the fun of the journey. And so some of you might ask, after 4 years, what's next for HisBrew? So, after running a business for the past 4 years, we've been really thinking for the past year what we want HisBrew to be next. We realized that coffee is not only just a caffeine boost, but it's more than that. It's about the connections that we build. It's about the people that we've met. It's about the stories that we've learned and experienced from people. And so HisBrew's next steps are both terrifying and yet exciting. But we can't wait to bring you along this journey with us. So, if you've ever supported us over the last 4 years, whether buying our coffee beans or buying a cup of coffee in our roastery or coming to say hi at some of our pop-up booths, thank you. Honestly, we couldn't be where we are without your support. And if there's anything that we've learned over the last 4 years, it's this. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to start. And that's it. We started and we learned along the way. Mistakes were made, but yet we continue on. And so for those of you out there, you're looking to start something new, go for it. You'll learn a ton, and I hope this video would inspire you to start.